are Becca and Jeff. And we are here in Maryland, somewhere in Maryland. We've been all over
We're at the Patapsco State Park. Its most famous thing it's known for is being the home of the Blair Witch Project. They filmed it in Burkittsville, but that was like 10 seconds of the film. The rest of it was actually filmed in a state park, where we are right now.
Right, and we have a fire going, and they could only have for one night. Like they could only.
They weren't allowed to have a fire for every night. They only did it for one night.
So the way that this weekend has gone, Friday morning, I live in Indy. He lives in Cincinnati. I drove all that way, and then we drove. It was about 6 hours. We got here. We got to the motel.
So it's the same motel where Heather, Josh, and Mike stayed at the beginning
and
of
our
Blair Witch
room
Project.
just would not get warm.
No, it would not.
I just made a comment, and so this was a totally spontaneous comment, but last time we had a trip, we went to Camp Crystal Lake, and we realized neither of us had like a charging brick. We had like random battery packs and stuff. And so charging was a very big struggle for us the entire weekend.
Yes.
So I brought a bunch of stuff, he brought a bunch of stuff, and I said, oh, we have enough battery power to power a small world nation. And we do. Okay, so Jeff went to the liquor store and he got a bottle of scotch, of course. But he has some rum, so he got a Coke. And look at this. He just grabbed one. Josh!
Tell us where you are, Josh! Total accident.
Too good.
Love it.
So it looks quite different, much updated, but this is the room that the gang stayed in.
I like how you turned
Yeah. Yeah, so their room looks way different.
Right.
But this is where Heather fucking hates scotch, and
they just sort of chill out for the night, and they get their last night in a warm bed. So we checked into the hotel, and then we pretty much, an hour later, we went straight to the 20th anniversary screening of the Blair Witch Project at, I can't remember, the Weinberg
Theater in Frederick, and it is a very nice restored theater. It was sold out.
Yeah, and
There's no way it wasn't sold out.
And Frederick is the home of Eduardo Sanchez, who directed and wrote Blair Witch Project alongside of Dan Myrick.
And Frederick is also the home of a lot of politicians who want to get on stage before the 20th anniversary.
They had 4 politicians speak before the movie.
Oh my God. What did you yell? You're like, okay, is the comptroller coming on now?
Oh, I didn't really yell it. I just sort of said it to us.
You said it very loud.
But I also said to Deborah behind me, I've never actually witnessed the air being sucked out of the room.
Yes. But it is cool that the whole town, the county, sure. I mean, they're all very proud. Okay, here's the official 20th anniversary screening of the Blair Witch Project in Frederick, Maryland. At this amazing
theater. This is Isella Bravo.
Okay, she has never seen the Blair Witch.
Never. Virgin the showing
here. And your kid's here, but...
Yeah, she went off to go get something to drink.
Do something or whatever. But they have never seen this movie before.
Nope.
So we are going to get their reactions after.
And I'm happy to say that the Department of Commerce now does have a set aside for small businesses and small films in the state of Maryland. And that's an accomplishment for all of us to be able to be proud of, to be able to attract more Ed Sanchez's in the world, and to be able to say that we are home to those that have an independent and creative mind, to be able to not only start here, but to finish here and to create a wonderful life here. So I have a citation, but I'm not going to read it because nobody wants me to read it because they want me to get off the stage and see the movie. But it's a secretary citation to the Blair Witch Project. It's signed by me. It's basically thanking you for your hard work, for you and your team and everybody that's been involved in this project, for putting Maryland on the map, for putting Frederick County on the map, and making us all really, really proud to be able to be here to celebrate 20 years of history. Thank you very much.
It's really dark, but what did you guys think? Wow. Oh, I can see you over here biting your nails sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
It was good.
It was pretty good. What did you think?
It was good. I wish I had seen it when it was first out, though. I didn't know that it was not
right.
But it was good.
Okay, so you weren't there for the phenomenon. So what did you think? What's your name, by the way?
My name's Lee, and that was pretty wild.
Good. So what was the best part to you?
Well, I suppose I don't really know how to put this, but I don't know. I'm used to like a lot of horror being like very oversaturated with blood and gore, but like there wasn't a drop of blood. There was a little bit, but it was necessary to the story. With the dude's scalp or whatever, it was pretty much necessary.
Yeah.
So like it didn't feel like it felt like very strange, and it was like purely psychological horror. There was like no gross out factor anywhere, which I thought was pretty interesting.
All right. See, there we go. And how old are you?
I'm 17.
My favorite part, I like probably the end. I like how they did the whole guy in the corner and he was standing in the corner. I like when the things circle back.
Yeah.
Might I add, with the basement, I thought it was really cool because you could kind of see where it was going when they were going downstairs. Like you knew where it was going, but
right. It's like upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah.
Him in the corner, I went, oh.
Yeah.
To get in the corner, it's like, yep, that's what's gonna happen.
Right, and it's so subtle because it's like just that one guy in that interview is mentioning it about the kid in the corner.
I want to point out that guy was not in the original cut of the film. They had to add that because audiences were confused. That guy being interviewed about being put in the corner.
Hey, wait, no, you need to push up your glasses and say,
Actually.
So this is the first time that you have seen the Blair Witch Project, is that correct?
Yeah, oh my gosh.
Okay, and what is your impression?
That was like horrifying in a way I don't think like any other horror film could have like captured it. Cause like whereas other ones it's like, oh no, Jason. This one was like, I don't know what's coming after me, but it's there, and just it's like the same kind of like terrifying feeling you get when you think of like the boogeyman or just like these fictional characters that you think are there but aren't really, you know?
Right, or maybe they are.
Exactly, you just don't know, and like the fear of the unknown is just something that everybody has, and to really be able to tap into that the way they did, and like the idea that like even back in the 90s, like people just didn't really know exactly what was going on with that, whether it was real or not. That's like horrifying.
Back in the 90s, back in the dark days. How old are you?
I'm 17 as of now.
All right, 17 seems to be the magical number.
Like, I did not like the fact that like the ending almost left me like, I don't want to say like on a cliffhanger, but it really kind of did, because now I'm just like, what is the Blair Witch?
So what did you know about this movie before? I mean, had you seen like things about it? Had you seen like parodies of it?
No, I came like literally completely blind. Eric was like, yeah, my dad, he's going to Frederick. We're going to see the Blair Witch Project. I was like, oh, I heard it was like a, you know, like a small independent project. It was a low budget film. I thought, oh, it's cool. What's it called? Napoleon Dynamite was cool. This should be fun.
Yeah, not quite Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah, not Napoleon Dynamite, but I like how like realistic it was.
Yeah.
Like to the point where it wasn't like, oh, this is just a movie. You never felt like it was a movie.
Right.
It felt way too
And
real.
you knew going into it that it was just a movie. And to think that there are people who went into it not knowing that it was a movie.
I was gonna say, I didn't realize like how serious they were with the method acting, like during that little interview thing. But also though, I'm gonna say, like, it was a little bit of a buzzkill when I did see like Mike come out later, because I was like, oh no, is Mike alright? And I was like, oh wait, yeah, he is. He's okay. But like, oh my god.
But Heather and Josh aren't here because they're actually dead. We never found them. That's why they're not here, because they're actually...
I'm not even a horror fan, I'll be real with you, but this was like, this kind of is messing with me right now.
Are you gonna go watch it tonight with your friends?
I don't know.
I think you should.
I should.
Well, seeing it again, the first time I saw it, I was 12. Seeing the movie again was really like crazy, because like this time I could fully like understand like the scenario and stuff, and like the isolation that they were feeling, because they were so like they're out in the woods like by themselves, you know. Like I've been in the woods like with my friends and stuff, but like we always had like a place to come back to. Which something like this would never work like nowadays with the internet, because like especially going into it, because like I'm here that like for marketing and stuff, they did like a ton of like stuff online and stuff. Like people would be like digging into like everything that's going on. Like this would not work. Like people would like find out it's for like a movie or something, and they would just like understand immediately.
I'm Sarah. I'm nobody. I'm Dan's girlfriend.
It doesn't matter. You're holding the Hacks and Films.
I am
book,
holding.
so
He works for Hacks, and Dan was the designer of the website.
Right, and this is he is the historian of Hexen.
Historian and archivist of Hexen. So this is the production book.
Would you be nobody if you were holding the production book? Show us, Sarah.
Oh, I don't know. It's the production book. It's all the production notes, like from the team, the early emails and stuff.
Okay, here, show us the page. Just show
I
us
don't
the
know
page.
if I can show them to you.
Oh, I gotcha. So basically, it's all the.
Yeah.
No, okay, that's okay. But she does have the entire.
I'm holding them because they're a gift for Ed.
So this is Dan. What's Dan's last name?
Karcher. This is Dan Karcher.
Tell us about what you have here. So a lot of these are real props or
yes,
actual film.
Yes, there's a couple of replications, but everything's real. What's been saved over time? There's a lot of, obviously for a film, an organic film such as this, there really weren't any props. There's no set. There's no studio. It's all organic. So what would be a prop? A stick figure? Well, we actually do have one right now.
Yes.
I did save some of them.
Yeah.
And
also the fact that you didn't really know if this was going to be a
No,
thing, too.
not
Right? You didn't know that
really.
people were going to want rocks that were outside of somebody's tent in a movie.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. That stuff.
Right.
Matter of fact, Mike's jeans were sacrificed to the Rustin Parr House when he was done shooting it. Well, for instance, this is what's remained. This is all that's left of the Rustin Parr House right here.
Oh, okay.
This is the wall, the exterior wall.
Okay.
These were actually bottles that were inside, and I just thought they were interesting,
yeah.
and I grabbed them. A brick from the fireplace. But what happened was, it had been visited so many times, and fans were grabbing parts of the house as a souvenir. I would have done it myself. There was almost nothing left of it, and the township said, we got to tear it down. It's not safe.
Makes sense.
But there's really not much left. But there's some things, like, I think...
Now this appeals to me because this is obviously an old movie marquee that what we used to have back then.
And here's the funny
So
story
awesome.
behind this, actually. This one here is the only one that I borrowed, yet I'm the one who made it. I made this for Ed for his 50th birthday as a gift.
Cool.
And then I asked him...
Oh my God!
And then he
oh my God! You are like 7 feet tall.
and then
Everybody is Ed Sanchez.
And then he made me give it back to him.
So I'm 5'5".
You're gonna.
Oh my freaking God!
You're like what? You're really short, and he's
Oh my God! No, he's really tall. Official trading cards. So this is probably put the video in, but Ed got the secretary citation for the county for all of his contributions. Is he freaking awesome? Oh, oh my God! I never saw this. Doers, however you pronounce that. I'd really love to read these articles because, like I said, this is kind of what grew into quote unquote for me, because I saw Heather on Letterman or something.
With Haxon, I'm their archivist. What do I do for them?
Yeah, I think that's what it said. That was your official title.
Yeah, I'm the archivist. I did make the website, BlairWitch.com.
Right. How did you keep that quiet? Now, again, this is in a time when the internet was not really...
No, I think I was still on a 56.6K modem. I graduated from 14.4 by the time Blair happened. But I may have had an AOL account, it's possible. Wow. I may have had my America Online.
Yeah, I remember the picture would just load line by line by line, which actually adds to the creep.
It's interesting you say that because right now the browser standards and all that have changed so much over the years that right now you couldn't actually see BlairWitch.com properly. They're on Haxon. If you go to Haxon.com/BlairWitch, that's where it's been updated. I captured the process of them making the film. Well, I didn't do it solely. It was not just me. Actually, the original person who captured them making the film was actually a wonderful, wonderful guy named Zubi Muhammad. Zubi is actually in charge of behind the scenes.
Okay.
He literally walks behind everyone with the camera the entire time. But it was my job to curate that, if you will, and including all the documentation and also props
Right.
and
I might mention that behind me, I cannot show you on camera, but Jeff is looking at Basically, it's a book.
Yeah,
we were just looking through some of those production notes, emails.
I will not open this on camera.
Yes, we cannot look at it on camera, but we've been looking at it. It is fascinating. Microsoft Word 95 kind of different production notes, a lot of emails back and forth, and
It's all the notes, and also all the notes that went into the canisters for Heather, Josh, and Mike to tell them what to do next. That's how they were being directed. The way the direction was is they would go from one what they call waypoint to another. At these waypoints within the hike, you don't see in the film them going to the waypoints, but that's what they're actually doing. The waypoints were basically milk crates with an orange bicycle flag, so you could see from afar.
Right.
And in that crate would be batteries, film, tape, cigarettes, and food, and instructions. And in those instructions, there would be a canister for each actor, one for Heather, one for Mike, one for Josh, with an H and with an M, with a J on it. By the way, they would grab that stuff. They grab their food, the film, the batteries, the instructions, etc., etc. And they, in turn, would leave behind the film that they shot that day, either being the film and or the high-A tapes, and the DATs. And of course, Ed and Dan would bring those back to the studios, or back to the office, I should say, not studio. Back to the office, they would review what was shot that particular day, which could help them decide this is what we want them to do next. And they would write their individual notes. Now, the idea with the notes in the film canisters was they were not to share that information with each other.
So
one of them might say, and I've got those in the production notes there, one of them might say, Mike, we want you to get rid of the map. But don't tell Heather and Josh to do it. Or they might tell...
It's almost like an escape room for actors.
Yeah, it's basically just private notes saying this is how we want your character to react and respond to others, or this is the action we want you to take. But it was up to their own discretion of how to execute it.
Did they ever do any reshoots?
There was alternate endings shot.
Okay.
That's not a reshoot.
But they never went back and said, today really sucked.
No, but there was one time that they actually, there was a key, there were two code words that could be used depending on the situation. One major code word was taco. Okay. Taco was the word that would be used if you needed to break character. Okay, if Mike needs to talk to Heather and Josh as just Mike Williams, the actor, not Mike Williams, the character, taco. And so they could break character. And then they would go back into character again because they were supposed to be in character 24/7. The other key word was bulldozer, and that's when basically the shit hits the fan type situation. And they did call a bulldozer. That is actually the cemetery scene. This is Mike Manello, producer of the motion picture. This is Matt Blasi, the biographer of the motion picture.
The Blair Witch Experience. I'm the organizer of.
I was going to say that's what we're here for. So,
real quick, I want to follow up on what we were just discussing. You guys would be a better source to explaining about the reset, which just happens at the cemetery scene when they had to be pulled out when they called you guys. Matt can tell you about it because you have detail on that.
Yeah, so the rain was so bad that the crew got left behind and the cast sped up. So by the time they got to their campsite, the campsite was basically washed out. And they kept calling help, bulldozer, bulldozer. Well, no one was answering because the weather was so bad. There was no cell phone. So they walked through the woods and they found a house. And they went up and sent Heather to the door, and she knocked on the door and said, "Hi, we're making a film. We need to call our crew." So the owners, Ingrid and Richard, invited them in, let them use the phone, and served them hot chocolate until they were able to come up. So they basically pulled them out of the woods, sent them to a hotel, and they reshot the entire day the next day.
I mean, can you imagine, like, even now, like, if somebody knocked on your door and, like, I mean, I've seen The Strangers. Heck no, I'm not going to answer the door.
Yeah, girl and two guys that are drenched and covered in mud.
We're just these kids. Yeah.
So thankfully they were very trusting, and they helped save the production of the film.
Well, fortunately, Karcher talks a lot.
Yeah, I talk for a living, actually. My day job is I'm a radio host.
He's a very verbal man.
But it doesn't matter because, so this is, Jeff. You guys know Jeff.
Yes.
Yeah, and...
I know Jeff intimately. I know him biblically, actually.
Yes. We had a threesome with Nicolas Cage.
Yeah. Wow. And we actually dressed him up. I fantasized that it was Christy McNichol. He thought that was not such a good idea, so we got to somehow split it so it's half Christy McNichol, half Nicolas Cage. And I said, well, which half is which?
Well,
it doesn't really fucking matter.
The beautiful part was that he took on the voice of Schneider from One Day to
Yes, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
That really had a blow dryer.
Did he have like all the keys and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Ann Hale's gonna kill us for that.
Oh God, you're right. Oh man,
we love you, Ann.
We're done. We love you, Ann.
Cemetery has actually denied us the ability to put any video of the cemetery into
another
a horror movie.
Yeah. You can go there and you can film all you want of yourself.
But you cannot put it in a horror movie, and they're very nice about it. But you know what? The guy who ran it, he met us all there. Awesome. I mean, it was just all out of respect for the people.
Mark was there for two reasons. One, to make sure that we were all staying respectful, and two, to welcome us to town and didn't want us to feel like we were being shut out or anything like that.
It wasn't like they're like, we don't want your kind. It's like,
they just
okay,
don't want to be a horror movie prop anymore.
Right, because they have people who are buried there, still. I mean, they're still selling plots there.
Yeah, and like families that have been in Burkittsville for generations and centuries.
And yes, there are tons of those old ones. I got a lot of pictures of them.
As the popularity of the Blair Witch Project dwindles away from what it was in 1999, they don't want to see it sparked up again by another movie, so they're trying to just let it die. And once a year, a crowd comes, and that's pretty much about all the visitors they see from Blair Witch people.
And we were encouraged by Matt to actually donate to the cemetery.
Yep, so we did.
So Matt and Aaron, actually, this past summer, they said they came down here. They did a lot of cleanup, yard work, and everything.
Matt Blasey and Aaron Chernak.
Matt runs this.
He founded the Blair Witch Experience.
I would say pro bono, except for I'm thinking he's losing money.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, and he does it strictly for the love of it.
Yep.
But this year was the biggest group, and there were some challenges. And this is the first year he had to charge anything, but it was because we took some buses around.
Last year I was here, and there were 25 total people. Sorry. This year there were 63.
He touched my knee.
This year there were 63 people on it, and there's just no way that those people can all go in cars from place to place that we're going to see.
This is the most rural, still intact rural area I've seen in a long time, and I live in Indiana. But you could go 20 minutes down a road and only see a mom and pop gas station that was they didn't have a bathroom. So he had a sign made, a Burkittsville sign made.
It's a movie prop for my upcoming film called On Location.
Okay, he's gonna plug that. But you know what though? That's why I'm here. Right. So, no, not really. That's part of that is the.
It was the foundation of our friendship.
Yeah.
I had a full-sized old school Burkittsville sign made because the town of Burkittsville.
By Plot 13 out of Glasgow, Kentucky, they make such cool signs. If you've been to a con and you've seen kind of rustic looking
these wood signs.
Yeah, wood signs. That's them.
The guy who built the sign for him put a rope on the back of it so that it could hang.
But then when we pulled it up and then tried to pull it over this huge square thing, it just would not. Yeah, I mean we would have.
We were going to snap the rope.
Yes.
So Aaron Chernak took some twine and made it longer, gave it a little more of an extension.
He took some time and
right
some twine.
over it, and so the new Burkittsville signs.
So then we have we've got three tall people. It was we should have had some music behind this. It's three tall people back here, and I've got the selfie stick trying to pull the rope over, and we get it down, and it's
perfect. But you need to know this.
Okay.
The town of Burkittsville, the white and black sign, it just kept getting stolen because it was in the movie. So they changed the sign maybe 15 years ago, and now it's a blue sign. And nobody wants to steal the blue sign anymore because that's not famous from the movie.
Right.
So I had this white and black one made, and we hung it over that so it gave it the old feel of Burkittsville.
And then every 63 plus 5, 6, 7 staff wanted to have their picture taken with it, so he's the one who put us behind.
Did a few locations, the stuff that only the true big, huge fans of Blair Witch would do. We saw where the old man was interviewed outside of a convenience store.
The motel room, which we had already stayed at the motel the night before, and our friends stayed in that room.
And then, Mike talked last night. They took a bus from New York down to Maryland. And then 3 days later, they were filming. So they had to pretend that they were college buddies, high school friends, whatever. So on the bus ride down, they were all kind of jockeying for position with their personalities and such. Heather, really asserted her dominance as the alpha female, which is something Ed kind of they directed her, you're in charge. So she basically went in from the start and said, all right, this is my project, this is what I'm doing. And Josh's personality kind of clashed with her because they very similar personalities, and that comes across in the film. And then there's Mike, just kind of like there. He's like, oh shit, what's happening? So they do their first day of filming, and that's really the only day where they really don't have any antagonism with each other. And when they come here, they go over to the liquor store that we just passed and basically spent all their pocket money on alcohol. A couple of 6-packs, scotch and everything. And they proceeded to get extremely wasted. And they ended up filming about 2 hours worth of footage in this hotel room of them reading poetry, singing songs.
Liquor store's over here, and it is a fabulous liquor store.
So it's really a lot of them going at
Those side liquors.
Heather and Josh really got into an argument, and at one point they walked over the restaurant across the street used to be like a diner style before it became like the pub that it is, and just even Mike was already over her filming him at that point. Midnight, she's still got the camera in his face, and he's already wanting her to turn it off, and she's like, no, I'm gonna keep shooting. So already from day one it goes from good, and then it just starts to begin to deteriorate. So even here, when they're trying to relax and celebrate, they're already sniping at each other, and there's nothing happening already.
Where Susie and Ingrid were interviewed. Ingrid, when she was 3, you guys know her from the Blair Witch as the little girl that picked her nose.
She's the 25-year-old who's about ready to graduate from
with her master's degree. Yeah. That little 3-year-old girl that was being held in arms is now this gorgeous woman, and you're like, oh my God, I'm old.
This is Susie, the mom.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. The mom who stood in
It's the
front
mom.
of, yeah.
Normally, Ingrid does this with me because it's fun to see the little baby all grown up now. But she is finishing graduate school. It's her last weekend class before she graduates, so she says she's so sorry she couldn't be here today. Came up here, this used to be called Mommer's Diner, and when the film was made, it was called Silver Rail Diner. And I used to bring my parents up to the diner all the time because they were getting older and they enjoyed it and all. So we came up for my dad's birthday. The kids, Heather and Mike and Josh, all 3 of them, went into the diner to try to get people to be in their film. And somebody behind the counter said to me, oh, these poor kids, they're making a movie for school, and nobody wants to be in their movie. And I thought, oh gosh, I'm a teacher, I taught high school for years, and worked my heart. I went up to Heather and I said, you need somebody to be in your movie, I'll do it for you. She goes, really? Oh yay, thank you. So we came out here, and I was holding Ingrid, and she said to me before she started to film, what do you know about the Blair Witch? And I said, absolutely nothing. And she said, you don't know anything about it? I said, no, because it's not real. And she said, oh. And that's my heart broke again. And I said, don't worry. And I looked at, I guess it was Mike had the camera, I don't remember. And I looked at Mike or Josh, whoever had the camera, and I said, just film, I'll make something up. So she asked me questions, and I think she took over the camera at that point. She asked me questions, and I just kind of made all that stuff up on the spot, folks. I was completely improv. Ingrid, this is interesting. Ingrid is extremely shy, or she used to be. And that's what that whole thing was, with her putting her hand on my mouth. She didn't want me talking to other people, so she was trying to get me to shut up and not talk anymore. And as she's doing that, no, mommy, with her hand on my mouth, I thought to myself as I'm talking, oh, this is perfect, because it looks like she doesn't want me talking about the Blair Witch. So I kind of hammed it up a little bit with her, and I looked and said, it's okay, Ingrid. I said her name on purpose. It's okay, Ingrid, it's mommy's just telling a scary story, it's not true. And that's when I looked out at the camera and went, it's true. Funny, true, I saw Dave Grohl on David Letterman's show years ago saying that the mother and the daughter in the Blair Witch is his favorite scene. So I thought, oh man, Dave Grohl knows who I am. So that was kind of cool.
So yeah, we got back on the bus and we went to the woods.
And the first place we stopped at the woods was at Fisherman Rock, where Ed Swanson, who was the only surviving fisherman that was in the Blair Witch Project, the guy who's, that's
bullshit.
He's a good guy.
Yes, he seems awesome.
He really is. And then, surprise of surprises, Mike Williams, one of the 3 stars of the Blair Witch Project, showed up at Fisherman's Rock.
And I'm gonna pop this in right here.
Which has probably already been in this video because he is, very talkative and an awesome guy.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Dan.
And then he got out and he gave like a half an hour. He did questions and answers for half an hour right there at Fisherman's Rock, and he's a good guy.
Mike did not die.
I haven't seen the place since '97, so it's kind of it's actually very similar. The weather, very similar to the weather we shot in. Really kind of cold in the mornings and warming up by midday. It's just sort of surreal being here this many years later and having more than one camera pointed at me. When we finally found the woods, that was when we really felt like the project was starting. You know, the townspeople and the couple of nights in the hotel, we actually carved relationships out amongst each other. You know, really got to know one another because we didn't know each other at all, really. So that was helpful, actually, as both actors and characters. So once we started to walk through the woods and into the woods, it became, it just became about us three at that point, which was, you know, the next 6 days I think we were out here. No, we were out for 8. You know better than I do. I'm a school counselor, middle school counselor. Yeah, I went back to school in 2007, and by 2010 I was still acting and actually did a film with Dan, I did a film with Ed, and I was doing some TV, pretty sparse, but my wife and I started teaching acting, and then I liked being around kids. I had some help when I was growing up because my family was a little rough, and at times, like everybody else's. But I kind of just wanted to be able to help out, so I went back to school, and cool enough, I did do a role on CBS last summer because I can still shoot things, but it has to be in the summer because I'm busy during the school year. And I'm not really out there looking for it, but somebody kind of found me and said, hey, audition for this thing. So I was on TV last year. So I would say I'm still acting a little tiny bit, mostly school counselor, and then my wife and I still run this little studio up in New York.
He said something to the effect of, and I might have this on tape, but on tape? Oh God, I've been here too long.
Video, yeah. She got it on the CP.
Yeah, that's right. Get it on the DAT. But no, he said, like, I feel like I found, like, my group for this chapter of my life. Yep. And that was actually pretty profound.
So while we were at the woods, we did Fisherman's Creek, then we did Coffin Rock. What did you guys do? Because I left for Coffin Rock early with this Australian girl. What was her name?
Jeff and Krista sneaking away. Uh-huh.
Is it Tuesday? Is it Wednesday? We don't know.
Woman with an accent leads me into the woods, I'm gonna follow.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, but we were all doing pictures with Mike and Ed, and I was one of the first ones, so I got out of there and I texted you, where are you at? But Jessica came up and I was like, oh, okay, she already had been there, so she kind of knew how to navigate. So went up there, we were the first people up there. I mean, aside from you guys, like the first people in the group, we got to do our pictures and then like we left.
It is Coffin Rock.
And I was like all by myself in the woods, which was awesome because I got to like turn on the 8mm app and like do a lot.
You used that. Nice.
Yes. Like the 360 to show I was completely by myself.
That's nice.
But then I stepped in a like sinkhole.
Oh.
I'm by myself in the middle of the fucking woods at the Blair Witch Experience, no less. And I step into this mud that goes up about halfway up my calf. And so now I'm stuck. It's like the fucking like, oh, I'm in quicksand, right? My whole leg is stuck. But I had already taken the next step for the other leg.
I didn't know this part.
So now I'm like, okay. So then I had to pull my shoe out of the mud, Jeff. Slime mud.
Yeah.
From like halfway on my calf all the way down. My shoes are like, so I'm like, well, there's a creek there. It's pretty steep.
Right.
The whole bank is pretty steep. So I like hold under a tree and I get down to the the stream, and I'm like Laura Ingalls Wilder. All of a sudden, I'm taking off my shoes and my socks, and I'm washing them in the stream.
Yeah, true tales from the pioneer woman. Washing my Skechers in the creek.
So yeah, it was pretty like soaked from the gas down.
Coffin Rock is iconic.
Oh, Coffin Rock is cool, except did you notice inside of it?
Yeah.
There's a diaper.
Yeah, I saw that.
Fucking somebody put a baby diaper, like a dirty baby diaper in there.
Whoever it was just hiking through the park and didn't realize that was going to be a big attraction for some people.
Yeah, they're like, oh. And,
nobody will ever look here.
Okay, so then they're just douchebags. Yeah. So we got back on the bus.
And went to build Stickmen.
Yes. So
did you build any?
I did not, because there's so many people there.
Yeah, the
and
sticks were running low.
Well, and every stick I picked up was like a former Stickman.
Yeah.
And in fact,
a rope tied to
Daniel, I have video, I'll pop it in right here. Daniel actually was repairing a couple of them.
Okay, so Daniel.
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so he is helping this poor little fella. He is actually repairing a fallen hero. How sweet is that?
It's okay, little bug.
It's okay. You're gonna get back up in that tree.
Ed Sanchez, writer-director of the film, showed up and just built a Stickman.
Yeah,
a nice big
do
one.
you want to build a Stickman?
He built like a 4-foot one, right?
Yeah, he built a pretty nice one. We were part of a very historic event. So Dan Karcher, he has one of 2 of the original Stickmen.
Yep.
And so he brought it, and then he realized that today, October 19th, yesterday.
He was wrong.
It doesn't matter.
It was the 18th, but 22 years.
Shut the fuck up.
No.
Anyway.
22 years.
It was the Stick's birthday. And he's like, you know, I haven't given it a name.
Oh, that's my baby. I still haven't named him.
Oh, well.
Seymour.
Mr. Seymour?
Yeah. What about
There you
What
go.
a great name, actually.
Yeah, Seymour.
Hey, and you know what? Now he's Seymour. So Seymour got hung back up in the tree, got some photo ops.
And then they pulled him down again.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he got his chance to come back, see his family.
Yeah, he saw his friends and family.
Yeah. So then we went back to the bus. We drove. We drove and drove. And drove and drove and drove.
Yeah, it took us like an hour to get from where the bus dropped us off to get to this campsite right here. And by the time we got here, it was dark, so we had to put our tent up and build a fire in the dark.
And we're stupid.
Why haven't been recording this monumental task of coming into a campsite in pitch black dark?
Black.
Okay, using the car. We set up the tent. This is our big accomplishment of the day. Had to go get a wheelbarrow of firewood. Now we're trying to find a lighter so we get some light. Come get me, Blair Witch, because right now I'm just like exhausted. I just want some booze. Oh yes, we have fire. We still don't have really any light except for my car. Fire!
We are using the light of a car to show that we have fire, alcohol, dry shoes. That was a big one for me.
Right.
We have some other things, and we have friends, and now we're gonna go watch some shit.
We have something also that I don't want to say it is, but it rhymes with marijuana.
Right.
Yeah. So
a bag of Schmeed, everybody.
A bag of Schmeed.
Everything's better with a bag of Schmeed.
It is.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Here we go. Okay. So now we're gonna go have fun.
Right. It took an hour and a half to build this fire.
Yes, we had a blowtorch. The wood lady gave us a blowtorch, and it took a good 40 minutes to start this fucking fire with a blowtorch. Of course, this woman and her 2 middle school aged daughters who were like, oh, do you guys have anything to help us like start our fire? We don't know if we can start our fire. Yes, and then like we've gone, and Jennifer is the mom, and they're adorable. They're all lovely.
Those kids are great.
But like, you know, I walk away to help them with their fire, and I run into the girls, and I was like, hey, do you need help with your fire? They're like, no, we got it.
It's Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Sorry, everybody. This is Jen.
Hi, Jen.
Sorry,
Jen
I
with the dimples.
And the cookies.
You know what? We got this weird glare thing. We're just going with it. I think it's just from the fire. Okay.
Hey, I've got it. Let's talk about Jen as if she's not here.
Ooh.
Okay.
So, Jen,
campfire
last night had a
tales.
cute dress on, don't you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
So, Jen, what I met, she's from Monroeville. In Monroeville, I'm going to shoot part of my movie there.
Really?
Well, she like lives I think she has something to do with the mall.
Do you shop at the mall?
She's not
Do you
here.
work at the mall? I was a mall rat at that mall.
Ooh.
Like 5th, 6th, 7th grade.
Ooh, what was your favorite store?
Spencer's.
Oh.
Mine too.
Okay, she didn't say Claire's, so good. She was like, you were evolving at that point. It's like Claire, Spencer's,
I
Hot
remember
Topic.
stealing Pink Floyd's The Wall from whatever
Nice.
You
store.
fucking.
How old are you?
Maybe.
How that whenever you do an event like this, like we did when we went to Friday the 13th, you do an event like this, you always find like 2, 3, 4 people that you like want to like absorb into your world and
Right,
talk
like
to them
on our
after you leave.
Friday 13th
Yeah.
stuff. Danny Phillips and
And
Merle.
with Merle.
And Betts. And Betts. Yeah, like they're in our world now.
So for this one.
So Jen, you are in our world.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Oh my.
What's up?
Oh my God, there's a light
came back.
coming towards us. You
should
guys want to
interview
sit down?
Matt Blasey.
Well, I did last night.
Oh.
But you can come sit down here if you guys want to come.
Oh, we'll let you guys interview.
No.
Just come by, say hi again.
We're coming back in a little bit.
Why don't you get?
I'm
wonderful.
I don't know if you'll be in frame, but get back here behind us just so you can say hi.
Get V behind me.
Get V behind me. I've been waiting for years to hear that.
I'm assuming that everything is still running, but yeah.
Well, the light's still on, so I'm assuming.
Well, it's at least bright. So yeah, Matt and Pamela.
So if you've ever been to any horror convention on the East Coast in the past 10 years, you know Matt.
Hi,
Who is
everybody.
also the author of
I like how the fire got hotter.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it did!
I set that fire on fire.
But he is also the author of 8 Days in the Woods. How can they buy this if they wanted to buy this?
They can buy 8 Days in the Woods directly from Amazon because everyone has Prime these days. You can get it
If you
in
don't,
2
you're
days.
a loser.
You can get
Prime
your
is a
book
must.
about 8 Days in the Woods in 2 days.
Or less.
Or less with Prime shipping.
That's right.
It's
and it is a documentary style book about the filming of the Blair Witch Project.
And not just the filming, but the pre-production and the aftermath of it all.
And
it goes really in depth.
Everything you'd ever
And
want to know.
at least 2 people have pointed at him while they were telling stories this weekend and said, well, this guy probably knows more about it than we do.
Yeah.
And they were directly involved.
Yes. Main actors, in fact.
Yes.
I did learn a lot about the movie, and yeah, maybe more so because I have everybody's story.
Yeah.
And not
So-
just one perspective.
So you obviously love it. Pamela, I'm sorry.
Pam's fine.
Okay, I was like, my sister's Pamela, and like, she hates one. Everybody calls her Pam. So are you as into the movie as he is? Or
Nobody's
like
into the movie
okay.
as he is.
Or are you like, or is it more like you love that he loves this and you want to be part of it?
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
No, I get that. I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
that
a lot of us have had like partners who've been like into a sports team. And it's like, I don't like that sport, but
But
I'm
I'll
gonna like
support
be
it.
like, oh yeah, I'm gonna wear the
Yeah.
jersey, whatever.
I
So
watch it and I really do it to support him.
So
that's
Jen
actually the
is coming
technical term
over.
for it.
We're gonna watch a movie. She's double fisting because, well, you know,
Well,
actually quadruple.
Wait till later.
Whoa, man! When we invite all those boys over from 214, we've got some McClellans. What the fuck did you buy?
Scotch.
Scotchy Scotch.
Here it goes
sauce.
down into my belly.
Okay, we're gonna watch a movie. I don't know what. We have a. This is how lame we are. I brought a space heater. We don't know if we're allowed to have them or not, but we thought, you know, what the hell. All right. At least I know if I'm over there, I'm in frame. What are you eating?
One of those almond bars.
oh, they're so good. All right, so we start with on the count of 3, River of Jordan, right?
What was the first words?
Just River of Jordan, river.
Just get started.
Okay, wait, hold on. Chew your granola bar, man.
All
Wait, Goatson's going to join us. And I don't know which way. The camera is probably closer to the light. I have a feeling that this right here that we're doing right now is probably more likely to end up in my video than our actual
Probably.
thing.
Probably.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm
Take
ready.
a drink. Take a drink.
I'm ready. No, I have to get up to get a
Okay.
drink. I don't want to get up.
On the count of 3. 1.
You started.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. River of Jordan's deep and wide,
Hallelujah. Milk and honey on the other side. Hallelujah. That is fucked up right there.
Hang down your head, Tom. Too late.
Hang down your head and cry. I can't sing.
I can't either. I know
all
that.
Your viewers now know that.
I can't sing either, and so I could hide behind Michael row the boat ashore. And he's not creepy. He's fun.
I love him though.
You love him. Everybody's gotta love Goatson. Everybody loves Goatson.